Now that final panel, creepy as fuck. That was a very creepy last panel. We get to see a big table with a bunch of demons sitting down and discussing a ceremonial festival. That's eerie. That's creepy. That's very creepy. Like, as I've said a while ago, The Promised Neverland is quite the different turn for Weekly Shonen Jump. It's a dark series, and I said I was worried about this series being censored or toned down thanks to how dark it is. And I'm quite happy that Weekly Shonen Jump is trying to be different from what they normally are, because if this would have been Weekly Shonen Jump a while back, it might have already been canceled, or might not even been able to lift off the ground because of how dark it is. I mean, who the hell knows? Maybe it's already been toned down, but just the overall setting and some of the things that have happened in this chapter, recent chapters, is just crazy. I mean, the demons alone, just how creepy they are. They're wanting to do a festival, and then they're wanting to, like, send the children in and probably devour and eat them. Very creepy stuff. So let's talk about one of the big things that this chapter did, and it was tension. Now, this has popped up once again in earlier chapters. I mean, we got to see a lot of different panels that really add a lot of tension and creepy vibes to it, and once again, this chapter does it as well. The new mother that came in, the helper, brought some tension to the table. When you have Norman and Ray talking with each other about the situation, you see the new helper pop up, get behind him, and like, hello, and the way she was, acting, it was just so creepy, and it was making it look like she knows something, like she found out what they're doing. And so I love how The Promised Neverland adds that tension, and it just makes you feel this weight, like, holy crap, are they gonna, continue to be able to hold this lie? Is someone gonna find out? That's kind of what the series has been doing. And so the way the writers being able to do something like this, I gotta commend them. I gotta commend the writer for being really good when it comes to the tension of The Promised Neverland. So, with this chapter, we find out where the trackers are, where they are on everybody's bodies, and apparently, they're in their ear. Now, that kind of makes sense if you think about how cattle is done. I mean, if you think about it, everybody's probably seen this somewhere, and if you think about it, cattle usually have a tag on their ear. That's usually where it is. They have, like, this big tag on their ear, and so it's kind of, in a way, a message to how the humans are being treated. For instance, they are being treated like cattle. We know this, but now they have a tracker in the ear, kind of similar to how tagging is done to cattle. Like cows and stuff, it's usually on their ear, so I find that very ironic in a way. So, they found out where the trackers are. It's in their ear. It's a very tiny little tracker that was inserted by needle, and so if this is demon technology that was put in their ear, there's a possibility that it could be a lot harder to get out than normal. But on top of that, you have to factor in that opening up your ear is not a simple feat, because look, with a small tiny little tracker that's in your ear thanks to a needle, like, embedded in there, you're gonna have to realize you can't get that out yourself. Someone else is gonna have to do that for you. You could try to pry it out and all that, but it's gonna be hard as fuck knowing you got it out, because you literally can't see behind your fucking ear. It's not a thing. Yes, you can look in a mirror and a mirror behind you, but most likely they don't have the, the way to do that. So, someone else has to rip out the tracker. And on top of that, ripping out the tracker is gonna cause some, issues. You start cutting open your ear, someone's gonna notice. The mother is gonna notice that you're cutting open your fucking ear, and then they're gonna report it to the demons. So they can't just instantly cut out the trackers because of two reasons. One, your ear is gonna get damaged, it's gonna get injured, you're gonna bleed everywhere, and if the mother finds out, you're fucked. But on top of that, if they remove the tracker right now, they'll get caught, because when the mother checks the trackers and they notice that these 1 points where the trackers are not moving around, that's gonna give their cover away, and they're gonna realize who doesn't have a tracker on them. So they can't remove it right now, so the only way they can actually remove the tracker is right before they attempt to escape, but also they need to have someone else do it. They can't do it by themselves. Someone else needs to rip open their ear, unless they want to completely chop off their ear, which I could see that being a thing in the future. I could see if the series continues down the dark path that's already set upon. I could see it to where in the future, when they finally escape and get out of this, farm, I see where we'll probably see a bunch of characters probably with no ear. I could see a lot like that. I could see where characters are going to meet in the future literally have no fucking ear, because they completely just chopped it off before they can, continue on and escape. I could see something like that definitely happening in The Promised Neverlands. So, the tracker has been found. Now we know what they need to do. The big question is like how they're going to remove it and what time they need to remove it. Now, as I predicted with last week's chapter, I said most likely the helper was probably going to try to hurt the mother, the actual original mother of this farm, drag her down to become the new mother of the entire farm, and that's what's going on right now. Apparently, the new helper that was brought in wants to drag down Isabella and then become the new mama before she could watch over the farm, and so she's trying to hunt down the individual kids, and most likely this is going to end in a dispute between the two mothers, and that's probably going to be the opening for the children to escape from this farm. So yeah, that's about it when it comes to this chapter. I mean, the chapter is very simple overall, a lot of setup, a lot of tension, but it was good nonetheless. So I love you all. You tell me your thoughts in the comments below, how you felt about this week's chapter. Please be safe. Chibi out.